don't throw away last year's planner. Whether it's completely loved and you use the whole thing, or you tried it, abandoned it, and it's blank, I have some solutions for you, so stay tuned. Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm going to address a problem that you have at the end of every year, and that is what to do with last year's planner. Now, a lot of times I will try a new planner and I'll give it a go. I usually give it a good chance, but sometimes it just doesn't work and it ends up most of it being blank. And then there's other times when I love a planner and I use it to death and I absolutely love it, and it's full. This has just maybe a few pages before I changed, but for the most part it's full. So I have some ideas for what you can do with the empty planners that you've given a go and didn't work for you, and also the full ones. So let's start with the full ones. So let's move these out of the way. This is one of many. Here, let me pull out a couple more. Here are a couple more. Now, the thing with planners like this, the ones that you use, the ones that are with you everywhere, you take them everywhere, you fill them out, they're a part of your life every day. These are a real peek into your life. They are raw, they are real, and they are your life as it was. This was my real raw life in May, 2016. If you journal or keep a scrapbook, I touched on this last week and I will link that video in the comments below. I talked about different ways to use a notebook, but one of them that I talked about was using a journal. When you journal or you scrapbook, you automatically are editing your life. You are choosing what parts of your life you're talking about, and even when you do choose, you are editing what you're sharing even further, even without knowing it. Maybe you don't want to edit, maybe you're trying to be raw, but at the same time, you're still only sharing what you want to share, whereas in your planner, you're recording everything that happens. Most of the times we're not sharing the emotions in our planner, but at the same time, it's an accurate view of our life at that time. If you want to look back and really see what life was like, your old planners will give you that honest look. Now, of course, your journals will have the emotions, but again, you're only sharing, whether accidentally or on purpose, you're only sharing what you want to share at that time. Now, I pulled this one out. It's more of a book of lists and other things, journal, planner. It was kind of what I did before. And if you watch my video of the planners that I'm using for 2022, I'll link that in the description below as well. Then you know that I'm going back to this a little bit this year. You can watch that one when this one's over if you haven't seen it. So this one is even older than this. It is 2014. So I've got all kinds of things here for one little word. But what I wanted to show you is I had my morning schedule on a post-it, my afternoon schedule here. I have a grocery list, and most importantly, on this one spread, I have things that my 16-month, who's now 9, my 16-month-old was doing at the time. So this is gold. This is amazing. This is real life. And I just opened this book, and I was brought back 7 years to when my big boy was a baby. It's really fun for me to flip through this and see what I was doing 7 years ago, what I was doing 5 years ago, and what I was doing last year even. But can you imagine if I had my grandmother's planner from 50 years ago, from 30 years ago, from when she was my age, when she was a child? How amazing would that be? Right? So save your planners, if not for yourself, but for your grandchildren, either future or current. I think I would leave these to be found. I wouldn't want to give them to anyone, but I think that they are a treasure, whether for yourself or for future generations. Now, I don't want you to hoard. I don't want you to keep things that don't spark joy. But if you think that these will be a treasure for you in the future or for someone else in the future, then by all means, keep your old planners. If you have a bunch of planners that are the same brand, same mark, like these ones, I think it would be really great to have them all tied up with a bow, either on a shelf standing up or maybe stacked with some sort of decoration or even a little plant on top. I think that would look really cute, and it would give them some value, because if you're keeping these as treasures, then you want to make sure that they have that value, they have that importance in your home. Don't shove them in the back of a cupboard unless that's what you want to do. Unless you want it to be sort of a time capsule-y type thing where you put them all in a box and you find them in 10 years. But I'd like to challenge you to give them some value, give them some importance in your home as decorations. stack them up or line them up. Find a way to give them space to honor those days, to honor those memories, because these are important. These are your stories. This is your life, and it's super important. So make sure that your planners, your books that hold these memories have value and have importance in your home. Just make sure if you're using plants on top of planners that you don't let them get wet. Okay, let's get into what to do with empty planners that you tried and they just didn't work for you. So I really love this planner. It's so pretty. The pages, the layout is perfect for me, but it just didn't work. It was a combination of the coil, which got in the way because I'm left-handed, but I'm sure it would get in the way of right-handers too. Anyway, that got in the way and I couldn't move pages around. It just didn't get used. And the same with this happy planner. I tried, but it just didn't work for me. I love the colors, but I found that it was already too decorated. This is when I was still decorating quite a bit, which I think it's 2019. Yes, 2019. It just didn't work. But it's so nice with these rainbow colors that it's just been on my shelf looking pretty. So there are many ways you could reuse these planners. Let's go to February. So here you see that Monday is the 1st and Tuesday is the 2nd, but this year Tuesday is the 1st. So what you could do is take some number stickers or washi and a pen and redate everything. If you want to use this again, and I'm going to give you some uses. If the planner doesn't work for you, I have other uses that you can use these planners for. We'll get to that in a second, but I just want to talk about redating planners. It's quite easy if you have some number stickers, whether they match or you want to do some different colors, to simply redate your planner. If you want to give this planner a go again, then you can redate the whole thing, or what I would do is go month by month in case you decide that it really isn't for you. Don't redate the whole planner and then realize it's not for you. Go month by month, even week by week. Redate what you need and then go from there. Lizu Plans here on YouTube has a video all about redating, and she uses her happy planner. She actually Franken plans a new happy planner from older ones because she couldn't get her hands on the newest one, I think because of the pandemic. So I will link her video in the description below, and she also has a printable where she lists which older months line up with current months. So what does that mean? That means that, for example, February 2022 starts on a Tuesday, but February 2001 starts on a Monday. But September 2020 starts on a Tuesday. So what she's saying is to take the pages from September 2020, for example, just change the month to February and the date to 2022, and then you can use this without using all those number stickers, without wasting all those stickers, and put those in your new planner. Now, of course, this would be difficult in this planner because of the coil, but it's really easy in a happy planner or a ring planner. If you don't mind jumping around, like if you don't mind having February here and then say, for example, March here, this could work in a book like this, but I'm going to get to another way you could use this in just a second. I think that would bother me, jumping back and forth. I haven't tried it, but if it's something that you don't think would bother you and you want to reuse the entire planner, then that might work. Or you could rip out the pages, trim here, and you can put it in a ring binder or on discs or any type of planner that would work for you. If you are enjoying this video so far, please give it a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Now, my next tip is to use older planners that have space in them as project planners. Now, this way you can use planners that are partially used. Like this one has a couple pages that are used up, but most of it is blank. So I could use this as a project planner. And I did do that November 2020 to plan out my YouTube filming and editing over Christmas, since Christmas is really busy. So I used that to plan out all of my filming and editing. And then I even used the pages of the month to help me plan that. You could just use the monthly spread. You could plan out the whole month of activities through the month, or you could just use the 1 week if it's a project that you only need 1 week. This way you wouldn't have to redate too much, or you could find a week that lines up with the right numbers. Having a book like this on hand for when you have projects is a really good idea, and it's also a great way to use up planners. Maybe you start it with a new planner halfway through the year, so you have the second half of the planner is full, and then you moved into the current year, but you have the first half of the planner blank. So you could use up those extra pages for project planning or some of the other tips that I have here for you in a second. And that is to use it as kind of a scrap paper book for drafts and tests. If you want to try out new things, if you're decorating your planner but you don't want to mess up your current planner, you could try things on an older page. If it's hand lettering or doodling, or you want to do a trial trial run of a habit tracker, you can do that on these pages, which are usually similar to the current planner. If you have extra pages from an older planner that you're currently using, then that would be a great idea. Also great for test if the paper's the same, even if it's not the same layout, but if it's the same brand, oftentimes the paper will be the same, so you can test out pens to see if they bleed through, or if you like the way the pen writes on the paper. You can also test washi on these pages. Sometimes washi will rip certain pages, certain types of paper in planners. Sometimes certain washis will rip, others won't, so you can test them in your older planners. If you've got a new set of colored markers, then you can test the colors on the older paper as well. It's also a great place to house your directory of washi. You can put a little sample of each of your washis on a few pages so that you have those for reference. You can go see what, instead of having to roll out each washi, you have a reference. You can do the same thing with the marker so you know exactly what color is going to come out, because we all know that the color on the outside of the marker isn't always the color that comes out on the paper. You don't have to use these as days. You could use this as a journal and you can write across the whole page. It could be a journal. It could be brainstorming. You could sketch or doodle on this. If you want to map out weeks in your current planner, you can use an older one as a practice run. You could create habit trackers by making a few vertical lines down here, and then you have all kinds of little squares that you can color in or mark off any way you want. Oftentimes at the back of planners as well, there's only one page here, but this one, for example, has a bunch. Oftentimes they'll have places for notes at the back, so you can use that as a notebook or tear the pages out, punch them and put them in a ring planner or discs, or even just sew down the side and make your own new binding. The ends of months often have a roundup page or a goals page that you can apply at any time. Maybe your current planner doesn't have these, so you can reuse the older ones, cut them out and put them in your new planner, or cut out all the individual month pages and put them together in one book. Also, the beginning of months have quotes or some sort of design. If you like one of these, you can cut them down and use them as dashboards in other planners. You can frame them, put them on your wall. You could do anything with these. Get creative and use them instead of having them just sitting on your shelf. Today, the cart opens for the very first treasure box of 2022, and the theme for this box is dragons. I put this little card together. Isn't he cute? So think heat, think fire, think flame. Don't think scary dragons. All of the treasure boxes have a magical theme. It's a way for me to curate these items around a theme to give you lots of little moments to yourself. And like I said, think flames, think heat, and think time for yourself. I will have an unboxing for all the items that will be in the dragon box, so stay tuned for that. Lizu plans here on I'm trying to find a page. It's empty. What? You could create okay, hold on. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. You can do that here by clicking on my little face. Here are 2 more videos that I think you'll like. If you made it this far, leave me the calendar emoji in the comments below. Have a fantastic day and happy planning.